Well, it looks like the rumors were true. We got a Nintendo Direct this week. It just it was a Nintendo Direct Mini. It's a Nintendo Direct Mini partner showcase. That's exactly what everyone wanted. So the rumors weren't dead on accurate, right? It didn't happen on Friday. It was something that was just dropped online, and it didn't really have the greatest lineup of games. Earlier this week, however, I did say, relax a bit. I kind of think that's what this will be. And it turns out, yes, it was a Direct Mini of some kind that was just dropped online. I really wasn't buying into the rumors of there being a big general direct on a Friday of all days. It just didn't seem right. It seemed very weird. I would say like a Thursday would be as close to the weekend as I think they would cut it, but we see usually like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, so it makes sense in Japan as well as the Western audience. So Friday, it seemed weird to me, but here we are now with this showcase that Nintendo put out that was very underwhelming for a lot of people. The backlash has been obvious online. If you go look at the like-to-dislike ratio, for example, on the video of this showcase, it hasn't been great. It's looking pretty clear that people want a bit more from Nintendo when it comes to first-party stuff, because if you look at the lineup currently, it's Pikmin 3 Deluxe and some Pokemon DLC. And even that, the Pokemon Company will probably take care of on their own in a presentation, right? That's like, they'll deal with that. Nintendo will do something else? I don't know. It's hard to say, isn't it? But for the people who are freaking out right now, because I do see a lot of people who are like, Nintendo's given up on 2020. The rumors are true. They're not going to do anything for this year outside of Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I would say relax a bit. As down, I was the one who was saying, hey, I don't think it's going to be a big general direct, right? I don't think that's happening this week. I mean, look at it this way. There's always next week, right? You never know. Next week could have something cool, and if it's not that week, it's the week after or the week after, but there's always next week. Isn't that's kind of the way we're looking at this now. And that's the weird thing about this situation. Let's say Nintendo does have something for September. Are they going to announce it like the first half of September and then release it at the end? Because right now, as it stands, as we get into September, I don't know if they would announce something for September that's not part of the Nintendo Switch online service, which would leave October for a release and then maybe November. I don't know if they'll try to sneak into December. They're cutting it very close is my point right now. And it seems weird. Like, I don't know what's going on with Nintendo outside of the obvious struggles in the video game industry right now when it comes to remote work due to COVID-19. And sure, Nintendo could be having that struggle themselves, despite them saying that they weren't really. They keep showing the disclaimer at the front of all of these recent showcases and directs saying, hey, what you're going to see here is the current plan, but because of COVID-19 and the situation right now in the world, they could be delayed. It could get pushed. So I don't 100% believe that they're not being affected by this, and I think they're just trying to have this or save face to investors and say, no, we got this all figured out. They don't want investors to think that they're running around right now in the background unsure how to use Zoom or work from home, right? They want them to think that everything's going according to plan right now. No worries. But I have to say, it seems like Nintendo's missed quite a few opportunities. I mean, look at August. Like, they could have basically owned August with it just one first-party release of some kind. We've heard of Mario 3D World Deluxe, right? That's a rumored game. Let's say they had announced that and it dropped in August. It's a Wii U port, but it still would have had the majority of the spotlight since, I mean, Microsoft and Sony weren't doing a ton in August, but like Battletoads and I guess Wasteland's out, 3 is out soon. But after Ghost of Tsushima, it's pretty clear Sony is just pushing towards the PlayStation 5 release now, and that's not going to kick off until November. And the funny part about this is if they do have something coming up, right, they'd probably announce something for mid to early October so it doesn't completely run over Pikmin, and then like 2 weeks after Pikmin, which would probably be the PlayStation 5's release date. Think about that for a second. Most likely, let's say they announced the Mario 3D collection, which it does seem to still be coming. Let's say they announced that, right? Are they going to drop that on, I don't know, November 13th, which would seemingly be the day that the PlayStation 5 would release. That would be so strange when they could have released it even in like September or earlier in October. See, what I'm getting at here is it feels like what's happening right now is very purposeful. Like they could have had announcements earlier on, but they have decided to stick with some of these direct third-party showcases, which, by the way, I think what happens here is they have these third parties that are like, hey, we're being affected by COVID, we're doing remote work, we're trying to do our best here. And I think what Nintendo's doing is they're just collecting them slowly. And when they have enough and everything kind of lines up for being far enough out from when these games are going to release, they just drop it. Like, there's very rarely any type of build up to it, any type of announcement leading up to it, except for that one time which was at like midnight Eastern time for some reason. It seems like they just collect them and then they just put it out there. They don't know exactly when it's going to happen, like a week or two in advance. They just collect these trailers. They say, okay, are we good? We'll go ahead and cut them together and we'll put it out. It really does feel like it's one of those kind of years, right? It is. I mean, it's been a weird year all the way around. But Nintendo is certainly doing some strange things on their own that I don't even think they really would have to do because of COVID. It's a very odd thing right now. But I will say, I do expect Nintendo to still do something before that September 16th meeting that they're going to have. I think they could be doing something in the next week or two as it is. And realistically, with what Nintendo's doing now, it doesn't even have to be a direct. They could just say, hey, here's the Mario 3D collection. It's coming out in November. You got Pikmin 3 in October. There's going to be Pokemon DLC. That's our holiday. We'll see you in 2021. That could be it. Maybe they put like Mario All-Stars on the Nintendo Switch Online just to be like, hey, it's Mario Celebration. Maybe they have another collaboration with a company like they've done with Lego or Levi's or something. And that's it. Really, that could be their holiday right there. I guess looking back on the second half of this year, I would hope that how quiet Nintendo's been means that 2021 is going to be absolutely ridiculous. I kind of feel like it will anyway because they have the Zelda anniversary coming up, and I'm sure Nintendo would like to jump on that themselves. Obvious money to be made there, right? But I would have said the same thing about the Mario stuff this year. So who knows with that? However, I just think a wrench was thrown into those plans, and they've had a hard time adapting to it. So we'll see. 2021, however, will go into the system's, fifth year at that point, and you would figure that's when they try to capitalize on a fairly large install base with a ton of software releases, maybe going as far as 10 even big first-party releases, mid to big first-party, we'll say, capping off the year with Breath of the Wild 2. That would be pretty massive, wouldn't it? So here's hoping. It's been so quiet for 2020 because we're going to get a bunch of 2021 stuff. But let me know what you guys think about this situation down below. Again, I'll go over the Direct Mini in full along with the reaction from the internet tomorrow in Newswave. But I'm curious if you think that Nintendo is going to just bypass 2020 at this time. Like, we've seen 2020. They're just going to 2021. Or do you think they could have some other announcements happening maybe next week, maybe the week after? We'll see what happens, though. But let me know what you guys think about this one down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.